So in this video, I just want to go over the data and just a solution we took just so we could have a lab work and keep it under a week in that. So we have parks here. These guys here, I'll just flash them real quick, right? We have these parks and we have these park structures in that. And so the concept of the assignment is we're going to have a user interface where a person, hey, they're going to, let's say, who knows how they're going to use the app, but one use case would be, hey, I want to go to a park, but I got the kids, and so I need to go a place that's got, at least some picnic tables because we'll have a lunch there. And maybe you want to, maybe you have a dog, you need a fountain, some water or access to water. And the thing is that information is spread across a couple of data sets and that. And to make it work for us right now, we kind of have to transfer, or what some people call enrich. We need to enrich the polygons with the point attributes and that. The thing is, a park can have many, if we can see it, right? This is one park, there's one park right here in Fleetwood, many park features and that. And one thing would be that, the question we have, does it have a cooking area? We don't need to know if it's 9 or, the granularity on the structures is high, right? They have a dot for every table. Whereas like, do they have tables or not? And so that many concept, we need to, I just need to know the fact that you have one, and not, I guess, 100. Now it might be an interesting, to add that to say, yeah, we got tables, it's this many, because then the user could go, okay, there's not that many tables, they're probably all going to be full or something. You could add that later, 2.0 in that. And so they're all already coded as shelter gate. This even took some arcade because to find whether something is a gate, a shelter, a table, you got to go across a whole bunch of different columns in that. So we simplified the point data that way, that there's one column you go to figure out what the structure is and that. And then we need to take the parks, right? And I'll just open up its attribute table. And it's in a group layer, so we got to go down here and get on the name, open up the attribute table. Code each park with the types of features that it has. This last right in here. But if you notice, and I'm in Pro, I can do this online, but you do need your browser to be in a good mood, ArcGIS Online to be in a good mood, and your internet not to be flaky because it could interrupt the whole calculation. Doing the calculation in Pro kind of smooths things out a bit. So this park here, it's got a shelter, it's got shelters, it's got tables, it's got gates, it's got fountains and stuff in that. And so this is a list, right? And I called it park structure list. It's basically the points values, but done as a colon separated list. Now we could do something fancy like throw a hyphen in there and how many do you have and that. But for now, do you have a table, right, is what we're asking. And we want to just ask the park, right? We could do this live, but it would mean that because we have like almost 890, almost 900 parks, we'd have to query the service 900 times in a row really fast and that. And so, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. If this stuff is not changing in real time, usually it's not, then having something run once a night to refresh the data sets, not unreasonable in that. Now you might be curious, right? There's 2 arcade scripts, one to clean up the points, and one to enrich the polygons with the point data. So I'm going to slide across the one I used, and that. And again, you can run this online. What the heck? Go full screen. Didn't work. And that. And so we're going to quickly go to our portal. We're going to quickly go get the point data set, right? That has the features we're interested in. And then we do this contains. It's interesting. This is, you might hear me talk about feature processing versus layer processing every once in a while. And this is kind of in between that line right there. Definitely a feature. We see dollar feature there, but it returns all of the points that fall within this feature. So it's kind of like a feature against a layer in that. And this will be ran for, because this field calculator is going to be ran for every row in the table, so for every feature, but it's going to find all of the points that fall within that particular polygon. So and then I start with an empty list in that. And then we just got to cycle through them all. And basically, every time we encounter a new structure, we add it to the list. So this is the thing. If it's not already in the list, right? Hey, this is a new one. Then push it into the list. And then we send the list back. And we send it back. There's a concatenate function. This is all arcade. This is exploring arcade a little bit in terms of, I guess, what functions does it have available to you. So this is a geoprocessing one. Point and polygon. Does the polygon contain the points? This is more of asking, hey, is my value already in a list? And then this one is, how do I take a list and basically deconstruct it back to a string in that? And I can put a separator in. And that gets me that value we see in the park. But that's going to give us the ability to talk directly to a park and say, hey, what do you got? And we can kind of mine through their list. Now we're breaking some first normal form rules there, but hey, you got to break the rules every once in a while. And so it allows us to do a one-to-many in a column. You just got to decide how you want to do that, right? If I was doing web stuff, ultimately, I'd love to have a JSON structure stuffed in that string. You just take any JSON, stringify it, and throw it into a string field. That's one option. This is more language friendly. Lots of languages are able to split based on a parser, whether it be JavaScript, Java, Python. So regardless of the language, it would be a safe thing to put in there in terms of interoperability. But this is where we're mixing Arcade and JavaScript to get things done, really using Arcade to get the data at a level to make the JavaScript easy. But I did have to fall back to Pro and run this Arcade expression here. It was able to, talk to the servers, and usually there's things like keep alive messages and hey, I'm not, haven't lost connection, I'm just busy kind of stuff happening. I found the browser was timing out too much or giving up. I'd have good runs every once in a while, but it wasn't consistent in that. But then browsers have all these energy saving features. So the browsers and their CPU throttling on Windows, so who knows who's affecting the ability to run the script through the browser, right? Sometimes it worked, but most of the times, if I'm honest, didn't. So I had to fall back here and says, let's see if Pro can fire this off and that. Interesting thing, yeah, would you do this in maybe a notebook in ArcGIS Online would do a better job in the online environment in that. Just found the certain things couldn't get a consistent result, but Pro was able to communicate with the backend service and keep that connection alive and that. But basically, yeah, we're doing a little bit of geoprocessing, little data cleanup to get the data ready for our application. And probably said this out loud and in lecture notes. So anytime you can do a back-end fix to make the front-end coding easy, you got to go for it, right? If it's a simple thing, hey, we just tack a column on, calculate this, and we knock out 100 lines of code on the front end, then you go for that all day long and that sort of thing. And there's lots of products today where, hey, we can rerun this every night or something. Data pipelines is a new thing that just dropped that might have the capability to do something similar to this, although I haven't completely solved it in data pipelines. In that, close, but it would be a thing where you could refresh the data sets every night in case new park structures have been added by the city of Surrey, new parks or old parks taken offline, who knows, right? So things change, and so it would be nice to, hey, whenever the data sets change, rerun the scripts and get the data ready for the app. But a little bit of work to, as there always is in GIS projects, to get the data in a condition so that you can work with it. That's all for now.